With the second storyline of addiction treatment, we start to see the medicalization of treatment. Now, in the 1950s, they came out with Haldol and Thorazine, and these were some of the first kind of mental health medications that really helped with schizophrenia and some other diagnoses. In 1988, Prozac was released, and in the 1990s, it was probably the most popular selling mental health medication. Also in around, I think, the 1970s, methadone becomes a treatment for addiction. Now, with all of that being said, the broader movement that is happening here is a movement towards addiction being a chemical hook. Now, we've had the studies that have shown this, but it's now starting to get societal acceptance that addiction comes with strong chemical hooks, which create imbalances, or that mental health is started from chemical imbalances. And we're starting to find medications that can help in treating that. And in some ways, this is wonderful, right? Prozac does help with depression. Now, is it oversold? Perhaps, and we'll talk about that, but it does help rebalance serotonin. Haldol and Thorazine perhaps did help with some psychotic issues, and it gave us a treatment instead of just kind of throwing people in asylums and essentially jails. So what happens is we start to look at addiction as a chemical imbalance in the brain, and we start to come up with medications that might be able to help that, like your methadones or later on the Suboxones. And with that, this destigmatizes addiction as not just being a personal failing. The challenge is, however, that at the same time, our medical system in America is for profit, and it's a very oversimplified storyline. The real storyline of addiction, which we'll get into in the third storyline of addiction, is much more nuanced and accounts for the environment and trauma that can lead to a person seeking escape in drugs that is actually at the root cause. However, with that simplified storyline of this is a chemical imbalance and a medical issue, it does destigmatize it, and it's not so harshly a moral failing. At the same time, it's oversold because when we look at our for-profit medical system, we have incentives to have a simple storyline based on a broken brain.